All right, so get this.
Okay.
Today's deep dive
Mm-hmm.
takes us into some fascinating territory.
Okay.
We're going to explore the psychology of influence and connection
Okay.
using a really unique mix of sources you sent over.
All right.
We've got excerpts from Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People,
Mm-hmm.
alongside historical anecdotes
Mm-hmm.
and even some personal letters.
Okay.
Think of
That
it
was
as like a
handy.
master class in how to win people over without
Ah,
resorting to like Jedi mind
I
tricks.
love it. And what's interesting is that these techniques,
Yeah.
they aren't about manipulation at all.
Okay.
They're really rooted in a deep understanding of human nature,
Okay.
our desires, motivations, and even our insecurities.
So it's about working with human nature, not against it.
Exactly. That's what makes these strategies so effective.
Okay.
They tap into these fundamental human needs
Yeah.
in a way that feels really genuine and authentic.
Okay, I'm all ears. Let's unlock these
Our
secrets.
first stop might
Mm-hmm.
seem a little counterintuitive,
Okay.
but it's incredibly powerful.
Right.
It's the do me a favor technique.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Are you saying that
Yeah.
by asking someone for a favor,
Yeah.
it makes them more likely to like you?
Yeah.
That seems completely backward.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But it all comes down to how this technique sort of plays on our inherent desire to feel important and valued.
Oh, okay.
Like there's a hidden switch that,
Mm.
when flipped,
Okay.
makes people more receptive to you.
Okay, you've definitely piqued my curiosity.
All right.
Tell me more.
Well, one of the sources you sent over highlights a brilliant example of this in action.
Okay.
So there was this sales promotion manager named Ken Dyke.
Mm-hmm.
And he was really struggling to get lumber dealers to respond to these requests for information.
Oh, that sounds frustrating.
It does, yeah.
So how do you turn things around?
Well, he did something much more clever.
Okay.
He completely changed his approach, and
Uh-huh.
he asked for a favor. Instead of focusing on what his company needed,
Mm-hmm.
he kind of framed the request as
Yeah.
needing their help.
Oh, interesting.
He even started his letter with, "I wonder if you would mind helping me out of a little difficulty."
So by positioning himself as needing their expertise,
Yes,
he actually made them want to respond.
precisely.
Wow.
And the results were astonishing.
Okay.
His response rates just skyrocketed.
How much?
It was somewhere between 500% to 800% more effective.
Wow, that's a serious boost.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder why we don't ask for favors more often.
Well, it's human nature to focus on our own needs and wants, right?
Yeah.
We forget the power of making others feel valuable in the process.
This reminds me of that anecdote you pulled
Yeah.
with Dale Carnegie and his friend getting lost in France.
Oh, yes, a
Uh,
perfect illustration of this,
yeah.
but in a totally different context.
Totally.
They were driving through rural France
Mm-hmm.
and got hopelessly lost.
Oh, no.
But instead of demanding directions,
Right.
they appealed to the local peasants' sense of importance.
How did they do that?
They basically implied this: only you, with your local knowledge, can help us.
Ha ha. That's brilliant.
It is.
And I bet it worked.
It did. The peasants were thrilled
Yeah.
to be these indispensable guides
Of course.
and proudly shared their expertise with these lost travelers.
So the takeaway here is
Yeah.
that even a simple request for help,
Hmm.
framed the right way,
Yes.
can make people feel valuable
Yeah.
and more inclined to help you.
Exactly. And remember, this isn't just about grand gestures.
Yeah.
Even small, seemingly insignificant requests can trigger this psychological response.
Okay, this do me a favor technique is definitely going in my mental toolbox.
I love it.
But I can't help but wonder,
Yeah.
is there a risk of this coming across as manipulative
Mm-hmm.
if it's not done genuinely?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And it leads perfectly into our next stop on this deep dive,
Okay.
which is the importance of putting you before I.
Intriguing. I have a feeling this ties back to what we just discussed and making
Yes.
people feel important.
Absolutely. It's all about shifting our focus away from our own wants and needs
Okay.
and genuinely focusing on the other person.
So how do we put this you before I idea into practice?
Right.
It sounds simple enough,
Yeah.
but I have a feeling there's more to it than meets the eye.
You're right. It's not just about using the word you more often.
Right.
It's about a fundamental shift in perspective.
Okay.
Think about it.
Okay.
How much of our day is spent just thinking about
Mm-hmm.
our own needs,
Yeah.
our own to-do list,
Yeah.
our own worries?
Okay, you're making me feel a little self-conscious here, but I get your point.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get caught up in our own heads.
Exactly, and that's perfectly natural.
Yeah.
But the key to really connecting with others is to recognize this tendency
Hmm.
and make a conscious effort to step outside of ourselves
Yeah.
and truly focus on the other person.
So it's about active listening,
Hmm.
really being present in the conversation.
That's a big part of it. One of the sources you sent over was
Yeah.
this study about telephone conversations,
Okay.
and they found that the word I is
Yeah.
the most frequently used word.
Ouch. That's a little humbling.
It is.
But it makes you realize how much we tend to focus on ourselves.
It's human nature,
Yeah.
but by recognizing this,
Right.
we can start to break that pattern.
Okay.
One of your sources features this fascinating example.
Hmm.
The master magician,
Okay.
Howard Thurston, and
Yeah.
he believed that genuine interest in his audience
Hmm.
was as crucial as any magic trick.
I wouldn't have thought of a magician being
Right.
so focused on the audience.
Mm.
I always assumed it was all about the illusion.
Right. Well, Thurston understood that connection was key
Okay.
to a truly captivating performance.
Yeah.
He even had this ritual of repeating to himself,
Hmm.
I love my audience, I love my audience,
Wow.
to cultivate that feeling of genuine connection.
That's a pretty powerful mental exercise.
It is.
I wonder if he wore like a secret robe while doing it.
Haha, perhaps. But the point is,
Yeah.
he understood that true success wasn't just about technical skill.
Hmm.
It was about connecting with people
Right.
on a human level.
I'm starting to see how this ties back to
Yeah.
the do me a favor technique.
Yes.
It's not about manipulation.
Right.
It's about tapping into that desire to feel valued and appreciated.
Exactly. And it's not limited to magicians either.
Okay.
Think about someone like Theodore Roosevelt.
Okay.
Larger than life figure.
Yeah.
He was known for remembering the names of even the White House staff,
Right.
addressing them personally even after these extended absences.
Yeah, I remember reading about that.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible that someone in his position
Hmm.
would take the time to remember so many names.
Well, his valet actually described how this simple act of remembering and using names
Yeah.
created this sense of loyalty and genuine happiness among the staff.
Yeah.
They felt seen and appreciated.
It's amazing how such a small gesture
Mm.
can have such a big impact.
Yeah.
It shows that putting you before I
Uh-huh.
isn't about grand gestures.
Right.
It's about the little things, the details that make people feel valued.
You're absolutely right. Now, shifting gears a bit,
Okay.
let's talk about the difference between flattery and
Yeah.
genuine appreciation.
Oh, yes.
Mhm.
Flattery always feels a bit slimy.
Yeah.
Someone trying to butter you up.
Yeah.
But genuine appreciation,
Yeah.
it's like a warm hug for the soul.
That's a great way to put it. People crave genuine appreciation
Mm-hmm.
because it satisfies this deep human need for validation.
Totally.
It tells them that their qualities and contributions are truly seen and valued.
Yeah.
In fact, one of the sources you sent over
Okay.
was this truly remarkable story
Okay.
about a Connecticut attorney
Okay.
who received this unexpected gift
Yeah.
simply because he demonstrated a genuine appreciation.
Oh, right. The one with the vintage Packard, right?
Yes.
What was it about again?
So this attorney was visiting relatives with his wife,
Mm-hmm.
and he found himself chatting with this elderly aunt who lived alone in this large house
Mm-hmm.
filled with antiques and family heirlooms.
Okay. I'm picturing a dusty old mansion with a mysterious attic.
Haha. Well, she gave him this tour,
Okay.
sharing all these stories and memories
Yeah.
associated with each piece.
Mm-hmm.
And he listened intently,
Okay.
asking questions, expressing genuine admiration
Yeah.
for her taste and the history behind the objects.
So he wasn't just complimenting the objects themselves.
Right.
He was connecting with the meaning they held for her.
Precisely. He was seeing them through her eyes,
Yeah.
acknowledging the memories and emotions they represented.
Mhm.
And you know what? She was so touched by his genuine interest
Wow.
that she decided to gift him
Wow.
her late husband's prized Packard,
What?
which had been sitting unused in the garage.
Wait, she gave him a classic car?
She did.
Just for being a good listener.
Yes.
That's incredible. Talk about the power of appreciation.
It is a powerful story, isn't it? And it
Yeah.
illustrates that genuine appreciation isn't about manipulation or hoping for something in return.
Right.
It's about recognizing and valuing what's important to the other person.
This makes me think that it's not just about what we say,
Mm-hmm.
it's about how we listen.
You're right. And that brings us to our next stop,
Okay.
the importance of active listening.
I have to admit, active listening is something I really struggle with.
Okay.
My mind tends to race ahead, you know,
Yeah.
thinking about what I want to say next.
Right.
And I totally miss out on what the other person's saying.
That's a really common experience.
Is it?
Yeah, our minds are kind of wired
Yeah.
to solve problems
Right.
and make sense of the world.
Yeah.
So it's natural for our thoughts to jump ahead.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
But active listening requires us to quiet that chatter
Mm-hmm.
and just focus.
Yes.
So it's about being present,
Right.
not just physically, but like mentally as well.
Exactly. It's about putting aside our own thoughts and agendas, even
Yeah.
just for a few minutes,
Yeah.
and creating a space for the other person to feel truly heard.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
But doesn't it take like a lot of energy to listen that intently?
It does require effort,
Yeah.
especially in our world,
Right.
fast-paced, distractions
Yeah.
everywhere. But the rewards are so worth it.
Okay.
Think about it.
Okay.
How does it feel when someone truly listens to you
Mm-hmm.
without interrupting or
Yeah.
just offering unsolicited advice?
It feels like
Yeah,
validating, like your thoughts and feelings actually matter.
precisely. Active listening is this powerful way to make people feel respected and valued.
Okay.
It strengthens connections and builds trust.
Yeah, I could see that.
And, Dale Carnegie himself had this fascinating experience
Yeah.
that really illustrates this power of active listening.
Oh, right. The dinner party with the botanist?
Yes.
I'm eager to hear how that unfolds.
So Carnegie found himself seated next to this botanist at a party,
Okay.
and he knew absolutely nothing about botany.
Uh-huh.
But instead of trying to fake his way through the conversation,
Right.
he just listened.
Oh.
He asked questions, expressed genuine curiosity about the botanist's work,
Okay.
allowed him to share his knowledge freely.
And the botanist was utterly charmed,
He was.
praising Carnegie as like a brilliant conversationalist,
Yeah.
even though he barely said anything about himself.
It's a classic example of how active listening can create a powerful connection. Carnegie, by just focusing on the botanist
Right.
and showing genuine interest,
Yeah.
made him feel like the most fascinating person in the room.
It's funny how
Yeah.
the less we talk about ourselves, the more interesting we can become to others.
It's like a paradox.
Totally, it is.
It is, and it leads us to our final stop
Okay.
on this deep dive,
All right.
which might seem a bit paradoxical as well.
Yeah.
The art of the challenge.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Are we talking about intentionally challenging someone?
Yes.
Would that create conflict?
It might seem counterintuitive,
Right.
but remember, we've been talking about this power
Mm-hmm.
of making people feel important and valued.
Yeah.
But a well-placed challenge
Yeah.
can tap into that same desire.
I'm intrigued but skeptical. How does challenging someone make them feel valued?
Think about it this way. A challenge, framed in the right way,
Okay.
provides an opportunity for someone to prove their worth,
Mm-hmm.
to rise to the occasion,
All
and
right.
excel.
Yeah.
It acknowledges their abilities and gives them a chance to shine.
Ah, I see. So it's not about tearing someone down.
No.
It's about giving them a chance to demonstrate their strengths.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be this grand competition
Okay.
or a high-stakes situation.
Yeah.
It can be as simple as setting a personal goal
Right.
or encouraging someone to step outside their comfort zone.
Right.
One of the sources you sent over tells this dramatic story about Charles Schwab,
Okay.
the steel magnate,
Mm-hmm.
and how he used a simple chalk mark
Okay.
to challenge a steel mill crew.
Oh, yeah. The story of the underperforming steel mill.
Yes.
That one really stuck with me.
Yeah.
What did Schwab do again?
So he visited this mill at the end of the day.
Okay.
And without any fanfare, he asked the foreman, "How many heats has the shift made?"
Okay.
And the foreman replied, 6.
6.
And then Schwab took a piece of chalk
Okay.
and wrote a large number 6 on the floor.
Really?
Yeah,
That was it?
that was all it took.
Just a single number?
That's it.
Wow.
When the night shift arrived,
Yeah.
they saw this 6 and learned it represented the day shift's output.
Oh, okay.
They immediately felt challenged to beat it,
Oh, wow.
to prove they were the better crew.
I bet they worked their tails off that night.
They did. They ended up producing 10 heats,
Wow.
smashing the previous record.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and the mill, which had been lagging behind,
Right.
quickly became the top producer in the plant.
Wow. That's an incredible story.
It is.
It really highlights how a well-placed challenge,
Mm-hmm.
even one as simple as a chalk mark,
Yeah,
can ignite this motivation
yeah.
and a desire to excel.
It all comes back to that deep-seated human need
Mm-hmm.
to feel important, to
Yeah.
contribute, and
Yeah.
to be recognized for our efforts.
I'm seeing all these principles starting to connect now,
Yeah.
from the do me a favor technique
Mm-hmm.
to the importance of you before
Yeah.
to active listening,
Yeah.
and even the art of the challenge.
Yes.
They're all different facets of the same
Yeah.
Understanding and respecting human nature.
You've hit the nail on the
I
head.
have.
These techniques, when applied with sincerity and genuine respect for others,
Yeah.
can be incredibly powerful tools for building relationships,
Hmm.
influencing outcomes, and
Yeah.
creating positive change in the world.
It's like we're unlocking this secret code to human interaction.
It is, and the most exciting part
What's that?
is that anyone can learn
Hmm.
and apply these principles.
Yeah.
It's not about manipulation or trickery.
Right.
It's about tapping into the best aspects of human nature,
Mhm.
our desire to connect,
Yeah.
to contribute, and to feel valued.
This has been a truly eye-opening deep dive.
Good.
I feel like I have a whole new set of tools
hmm
that I can use in my interactions.
I encourage you to experiment with these techniques.
Okay?
Observe how they impact your relationships
Mhm.
and just see the positive ripple effects they create.
I'm definitely going to put these ideas into practice.
Good.
So until next time,
Ah.
keep diving deep,
Okay.
stay curious,
All right.
and remember, the power of connection
Yeah.
lies within each of us.
Great. 4031.